Welcome everybody. Ken Rodriguez here, broadcasting for the North American Grand Prix Thursday night Assetto Corsa League. Welcome to round number 2 of the GT2 Thursday night series, coming to you live from Imola in Italy. And I'll be broadcasting this one tonight on my own. Do not have a co-host. And before we go any further, just want to advise you folks that this is still fairly new for us here at NAGP with regards to Assetto Corsa, so we are going to do our best to bring you all of the live action here. We did actually figure out some of the camera angles and stuff like that, so we're hoping to be able to bring you some really good coverage of the race tonight. These guys are still in practice mode. I do not believe that we have started the quali session. And when we do flip over to the quali session, I'm sure that we'll know about it fairly quickly. So real quick, like I said, we're coming to you from Imola. I'll go ahead and bring up the Imola track map, and there you have it. So yeah, it's fairly unchanged from when they made the big change over there at Tamburello back in 1994. And it's gone through some revisions, but it's been pretty much the same since then. And this is actually one of my favorite tracks that I like to actually do a lot of my testing on. This track actually gives you a lot of just about everything. It's got some switchbacks, it's got a little bit of a chicane at Variante Alta, which is a very tough one to tackle, especially when you're coming at it really hot and heavy. So I'm expecting that we're going to see a really great race here tonight. Now taking it back to the Assetto Corsa Sim, we see that a lot of the guys right now are in the pits, and I believe that they may be having the drivers meeting. I see everybody in the Assetto Corsa room right now on Ventrilo, so they might have just finished their driver meeting, because I see some folks that are popping back down into their room. So hopefully we get some action going here very soon. And let's see here, switch views, just run through the drivers. Tom Schubeck driving the Corvette. Jeremy Bryant, new to the NAGP League, driving a BMW. Sam Rolfe in the BMW. Chris Moses driving the Corvette C6R. Johnny Ackerman, also new to NAGP Assetto Corsa, Ferrari 458. Jean-Yves Sampson from our Thursday night GT1 in the Ferrari 458. Johnny McIntyre, BMW. Jack Ivey, my co-host typically on Thursday nights, is behind the wheel of a BMW M3 tonight. John Wathen driving the Corvette, and Kreshnik Khalili in the Ferrari 458. Mike Graytrix, my former GT2 running mate, also in a Ferrari 458. Let's see here, who did we go to? Sergio Calderon. Oh, it looks like we're having some issues. Rich Roman driving the Corvette. Jonathan Cubbett in a Corvette. John Ludden in the BMW. Bjorn Heyman in the BMW. David Poole driving the Corvette. Andrew Werner in the Corvette. Andres Prado in the Corvette. And that's me. I'm just broadcasting actually, folks, so I'm not doing much of anything. There. He is now back in the pits. Waiting for the quali session to just kind of fade over, if you will. drivers take to the track. Jump on board with Brad Maris. Let's get rid of these P-Tracker stats. Oh, Brad Maris takes it a bit off. So we'll jump on the bonnet cam, on the hood cam with John Wathen, with Jean-Yves directly in front of him. Oh, and our session is about to switch over, folks. So we are now on timed qualifying, 25 minutes. And so we are going to go ahead and jump on board with Al Merriman. Al Merriman is the owner of the North American Grand Prix. He is the one that brings all this great racing to us sim racers, and very grateful and appreciative of all the work that Al and all the other folks that contribute here at North American Grand Prix do put in week after week. Again, folks, I'll ask that you just bear with me as we do get these cameras figured out wholly and determine which cars have what camera angles, because different cars have different camera angles. And I'll show you right now as we switch over to the Ferrari 458. We got this really neat view here, the roll cage cam, which some of the other cars do not have. So this is the qualifying session, and these drivers have 25 minutes to put their best lap in to determine the starting order of the race. And yes, while P-Tracker does show that I am in first place, believe me, I'm not. Not posting the qualifying time quickly put me down at the bottom of the Brad Maris with an off. So the lap times are starting to come in, and it looks like the track grip may have fallen off a bit here in the quali session, and I believe it's dynamic progressive, meaning that the track starts with very little grip, and as the rubber gets laid down through the groove, these guys will go they will start getting faster, and the lap times are certainly indicative of that, because at the end of practice, if you saw when I had Pete Tracker up, some of the lap times had fallen into the 143s, so you're looking at 17-second difference currently. Some cars taking it way off. So some of the drivers are starting to struggle with the grip on the track, grip levels. Rich Roman driving the Corvette. Rich currently sitting in last with a 322, so again they have 25 minutes to put their times in. Tom Schubeck with a 145, and Al Merriman setting the fast lap with a 144.65. So the grip is starting to come in as these drivers start warming their tires up. The grip levels start going up. So we'll look to jump on board with our current pole sitter. David Poel. Now putting up pole time of a 1:43.18. Johnny Ackerman with a 1:44.54. Al Merriman sitting in third with a 1:44.65. Tom Schubeck putting in a blistering lap at a 1:45 flat. Sam Rolfe, John Eve Sampson, Jonathan Cubbett, Johnny McIntyre, Jack Ivey, sitting in 10th with a 1:49.3. Oh, a bit of contact between Richard Roman and another car. Current pole sitter David Poel leaving the pits. And we're starting to see a bunch of guys disconnect from the server. Not exactly sure why that's happening. On board with David Poel. So just like the Monday night GT2 League, the Thursday night Assetto Corsa League also has a championship series. It's 10 rounds, and there are prizes for both the driver champion and the team champions. So run very similar to how the Monday night league is run. The biggest difference right now, because this is a new platform and Assetto Corsa does not have the same features as GTR2, these drivers, the teams are limited to 12 and 2 drivers, so a total of 24 drivers, and then they must pick a different car each and every week. So if you start your first week in the Ferrari and your second week is the Corvette, then on the third week, on the third race, your only option is the BMW M3, and then the cycle starts all over again. You're not allowed to drive the same car 2 weeks in a row. There has to be a switch up, and these switch ups are made on a driver declaration page on our website. You can read more about it. Head on over to NorthAmericanGP.com and go into the forums and look for the Thursday night or the Thursday AC League forums, and you'll be able to see what the requirements are for these drivers. So again, the Assetto Corsa new sim that was just released not too long ago was in early beta for a very long time, and then switched over to release candidate. And as a matter of fact, I believe it was just another day or two ago that they released their first downloadable content called the Dream Pack. So if you guys are watching by broadcast and like what you see, hey, you know what, all it takes is a wheel and some pedals. Head on over to steampower.com, pick up a copy of the Assetto Corsa Racing Sim, and come on out and join us. On board now with Andres Prieto. Andres Prieto through Ascari, and Ascari's just that's Variante Alta, very complex chicane there because the curbs are very high. They are designed to disrupt the suspension of the cars, and it succeeds tremendously at doing just that. So these fast drivers need to be very careful on how exactly they tackle those curbs. Andres Preto right now is currently sitting in. Let's go ahead and take a look. So Andres Preto moves up to second with a 143.8. David Poel now taking things up a notch with a 142.9. We've not seen 142s, at least not in practice today. Not sure how these drivers did throughout the week in their practice sessions leading up to tonight's quali session. Johnny Ackerman now with a 144 flat. Now Johnny Ackerman and let's see, who else was it? Jeremy Bryant during practice had set some really fast laps in the 143s, but we see that as traction is starting to come up on the circuit now, those times are starting to fall really quick. Let's take a look at John Ludden. John Ludden currently sitting in 4th spot, provisionally with a 144.46 as his fast lap. Takes it a little bit wide. And if you're wondering, there is a cut rule in effect, 10% cut rule is in effect, and I believe that the NAGP administration does have the sim set up to allow 3 wheels off. Anything over 3 wheels will cause you a slowdown or a speed penalty, whereby you will have to either slow it down or bring it down to 30 miles per hour before you can continue. So it's very important that these drivers take every precaution that they can not to get themselves into a predicament where they're going to be losing an exorbitant amount of times. On board with Jack Ivy as he gets around Al Merriman. Ivy currently sitting in 19th with a 148.8. Looking to better his time this time around. Driving the white BMW M3 car. GT2. Not a really big fan of the camera angles at this track. Wish that Kunos would have done a better job with it. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. We will make the best of it. Again, on board with Jack Ivy as he comes into the final 2 corners of the circuit here at Imola. Down the front straight he goes. And we'll go ahead and post up a, see if we can, a 148.5. So while it does not improve his standing, it does improve his time, his lap time. David Poel still your race leader with a 142.94. I'm sorry folks, did not mean to bring that up. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. Jack Ivy will pull it off. Let's go on and see who else is out there. Kreshnik Halili. Kreshnik currently sitting in 14th, his best time of 146.24. No improvement for Kreshnik at this time. He violently goes over the curbs there. jump on board with Kreshnik. Oh, and Kreshnik with a bit of an off is probably going to go ahead and pull it back into the pits. Jean-Yves Sampson, also in a Ferrari 458 GT2. Jean-Yves currently sitting in 13th, not bad, with a 145.87. Very nice, very respectable. With 10 minutes left in the qualifying session. Your current running order: David Poel, Johnny Ackerman, Brad Maris, third with a 143.47. Andres Prieto, Chris Moses, Rich Roman, Matt Taylor, John Ludden, Tom Schubeck, Jeremy Bryan, Al Merriman, Aaron Parsons, Mike Greatrix currently sitting in 13th, Jean-Yves Sampson in 14th, Sam Rolfe, Kreshnik, Andrew Werner in 17th, John Wathen, Bjorn Heyman, Jonathan Cuppett, John McIntyre, Jack Ivey, and Sergio Calderon. Jump on board with Johnny McIntyre. Switch on over to Aaron Parsons driving the McDonald's Corvette. And Aaron Parsons currently sitting in 10th spot with a 144.42. So all in all, whoa! As he gets by a slower car there. On the chase cam, following Aaron Parsons around. Aaron Parsons looking to get out of that 11th spot. Al Merriman jumping up into the 10th spot. So Aaron Parsons trying to better his time. We've got 8 minutes left to go in the qualifying session. Jumping some curves. Oh, and Parsons decides to take it off. Brad Maris sitting in third with a 143.47. Brad Maris currently on a tear in this Assetto Corsa League. And let's go ahead and take a look at what I mean by that. If we go ahead and take it over to the points, John Ludden currently sitting in first with 25, but just 4 little points behind him is Mr. Brad Maris, whom we were just following. Matt Taylor sitting up in third with 18, and this is after the round one at Le Mans last week. Rich Roman with 16 points, and Thomas Schubeck with 14. Way to go, Tom. That was a pretty awesome run he had last week. Jeremy Bryant, John McIntyre, Johnny Ackerman, Jeffrey Vandervoort, Jack Ivey running as an independent, 7 points. Aaron Parsons with 6, Jean-Yves with 5. Bjorn, Mike, Sergio, and Jonathan Cuppett round out your points drivers, those that have points. Back to the action on track. Take a look at what Chris Moses is doing. Chris Moses currently sitting in 6th with a best lap of 143.56. Oh, and Chris now taking it. Wow. Chris jumps up into the pole spot with a 142.8. Unbelievable. So Chris probably having brought it back into the pits, no doubt. Sure enough, Andres Prieto on his way back out to put in a good lap. Jonathan Cuppet might be on an out lap right now, driving the Mad Croc Corvette C6R GT2, a fine looking machine. So we have just a little under 5 minutes left to go in this qualifying session. We're looking at Jonathan Cuppet driving the number 11 Chevy machine. Cuppet currently sitting in 22nd, trying to best his time. Schubeck with a fantastic qualifying run, currently sitting in 7th with a 143.67. And Andres Prieto driving the Red Bull Corvette. Number 3 Corvette as he comes across the line. Andres Prieto, that was his outlap at 2:19. He'll have 3.5 minutes left to do about 2 laps. If he can get in one more lap, that's about it. That's all these guys are going to get in, is one more timed lap, because they won't have time to do a second one. The boss, Al Merriman. Sitting in 10th. Well, I gotta tell you that some of the drivers that were fast in practice have actually surprised me as not being as fast as they were, or not being as fast now as they were in practice. Now, I know that there were some that were in the 143s, but boy, I gotta tell you that these seasoned drivers have not disappointed and have pulled out all the stops to get into the 142s, albeit the high 142s, but these guys are pulling out all the stops. So Johnny Ackerman now up into 4th with a 143.27, pushes John Ludden down to 5th. Andres Prieto to 6th with a 143.5. Schubeck still holding on to that 7th spot with just a little over 2 minutes left to go. We have some drivers that have pulled it into the pits and have finished their qualifying session, while others are still out on the track, still trying to put in a very, very fast lap, as fast as they can. Andres Prieto being one of them. That's going to be it for Andres. He's going to probably pull it into the pits now, as is Jonathan Cuppet. We've got 1 minute 24 seconds left to go. Aaron Parsons still out there, and Aaron Parsons loses it. Kreshnik coming into Variante Alta through the chicane. Again, he came in a little too hot there, had to go hot and heavy on the brakes. With just 55 seconds left to go, it looks like your running order has been set. Let's see what Kreshnik can come through with now, as he gets Kreshnik with a 145.814. Kreshnik Halili in 18th. So it looks like that's going to be it, folks, for the qualifying. And the grid has now been set for the 167, I think, 167 kilometer race tonight, or 90 minutes. I think it's whichever comes first. And the session has been terminated. So this is how it goes, folks. I have to jump on board here with these guys, and then I escape to the pits and bring you the live action once that light goes green. One of the shortcomings of Assetto Corsa, but they're working on it, and they will get it together at some point. They will get it together. So I think we've got about a minute left to go before the green flag drops. Everybody should essentially be out on the grid right now. As I look to my right and look to my left, behind me there's nobody. I'm the only person that did not put a timed lap in, so that is why I'm in the 24th position. Once these guys get going, I bug off the track, get out of their way, and they will go at it for however long is needed. And we should get started any second here. Once everybody hits that drive button. It looks like we might be waiting for one car that's in yellow up there. Not sure exactly sure who that is. But we have one yellow car that we're waiting on. And there go the lights. So you will see the red lights come from left to right. These guys will start revving their engines, and once they do that, I will go ahead and escape to the pits. So we're going to move up to the front really quick here. David Poel, your current race leader, out front. Let's go ahead and see who else we've got. Brad Maris in second, duking it out with Chris Moses. They go side by side. Chris Moses with the inside line, but almost loses it. Chris Moses still holding on to that second spot. Brad Maris followed very closely by John Ludden. John Ludden having a look on the inside, and I think he's going to get that pass done. On board with John Ludden, chasing Brad Maris, Chris Moses. David Poel, your leader, he is out there. Andres Preto back in 5th. Rich Roman in 6th. So far so good. Johnny Ackerman gets bumped down to I believe it's 7th. Matt Taylor, Al Merriman, Jeremy Bryant, Aaron Parsons. These guys are in there tight as they come down to the final 2 corners of the circuit. John-Yves Sampson, Andrew Werner, Mike Graytrix, Thomas Schubeck, Jonathan Cuppett, Bjorn Heyman, Chris Moses. Not exactly sure what happened to Chris. Johnny Mack is back there. Jack Ivy's back there. Let's take a look at your runner. We're going to have to bring up these stats. And let's see here. Actually showing Chris Moses. Where is he? He's back there somewhere. Hard to see the names. No, Chris Moses is shown as your leader. So your leader, Chris Moses, out there all by himself right now. Chris Moses is just trying to lay the smackdown on the rest of the field. Followed by John Ludden and David Poel, Andres Preto, Rich Roman. Where did Brad Maris go? Brad Maris back down to 7th. We've got a hot battle up here with David Poel, Rich Roman. These guys are going at it, nose to tail. Take a look a little further back here. On board with David Poel. Johnny Ackerman up to 6th. Is it the... Oh, that's me. Not sure why I popped up in there. Johnny McIntyre in a heated battle right now. Looking to put the moves on Bjorn, but he thinks better of it as they go into the S's. But Johnny McIntyre now with a bit of a run on Bjorn. Bjorn's going to have the inside line. Will they keep it clean? Oh, they nearly touched. Oh, there goes Schubeck. Bjorn takes it off to the side. John McIntyre is the beneficiary of that. On board with Jack Ivey. Jack Ivey, one of the veteran statesmen around here at NAGP. Matt Taylor in 18th position. Trying to hunt down Mr. Ivey, driving that BMW. Just got to keep it smooth, Jack. Keep it smooth. Looks like Matt Taylor's going to have a bit of a run on Jack as they come across the start-finish line. Matt Taylor with a 148.938. Matt Taylor taking a look on the inside, taking that inside line away from Jack Ivey, is going to go ahead and get himself up into that 15th spot. So he's running in the points. John McIntyre, Kreshnik Halili, Johnny Ackerman. Great battle going on here between Ackerman, Graytrix, Merriman. And Halili. See if we can get on the chase cam. There we go. So the 3 red Ferraris. Reminds me of the 3 little pigs, right? Graytrix, Ackerman, and Halili all battling for that 11th spot. Being held on to right now by Graytrix, but it looks like Halili with a little bit of a bobble has let these two get away. So now Ackerman looking around, looking to get around Mike Ratrix, having a peek on the insides, and not going to get it done this time around. But boy, oh boy, he's sniffing some exhaust out of that Ferrari in front of him. Mike Ratrix getting it a little bit sideways. It looks like Ackerman's going to have a bit of a run here on Ratrix as they come down the front straight across the start-finish line. Take it side by side. Ackerman with the clear inside line. Ratrix having to concede. Great battle going on. Let's move it up a little bit here. So here for P5, we have a great battle going on between Maris and Rich Roman. Two fantastic drivers on board with David Poel in P4. Andres Prado making his way up to P3. John Ludd and then Chris Moses. So they are coming up now on John-Yves Sampson, who's currently running in 23rd. However, will this give the advantage to John Ludd and to pull up on Chris Moses now? Because we know how it works. When you have lap traffic, you got to get around that lap traffic. And because Assetto Corsa still does not have the blue flag rule implemented, John Ludden very well might have an opportunity here to close that gap on Mr. Moses, who is your race leader. So we'll have to see. But John Ludden driving that very colorful BMW M3 GT2 car. Looking mighty fine out there, holding some clean racing lines. Currently no weather engine in Assetto Corsa, so everything is ran in the dry. I believe that they are going to implement an overcast feature that will have some effect on the track grip. Moving up to your race leader, Chris Moses, as he comes up on John-Yves Sampson. John-Yves gonna let him by. Good on you, John. Concedes that position as well to John Ludden as the race leaders come by. Oh, Sergio with a really bad off. Oh, Sergio not having a good time today. It looks like he may have toasted it. On the last corner, gonna bring it into the pits. Smacks into the wall. Okay. Brad Maris getting around Rich Roman. What was that all about? One of the shortcomings of Assetto Corsa currently, folks, is that the positions do not update in real time. So while you may see on P-Tracker, you can see the correct running order. However, Assetto Corsa will hold their positions until they cross the start-finish line again. Unfortunately, unlike GTR2, which is the other sim that we run here at NAGP, whenever you cross the sector line, XD will get updated with the positions. So it's actually Brad Maris in 5th, Rich Roman running in 6th. Jeremy Bryant, Jonathan Cuppet. So Cuppet in the slipstream of Jeremy Bryant's BMW. Looks like we have a third contender here. Yep, Al Merriman Al the Boss Merriman currently running in 9th, so it's 7th, 8th, and 9th, battling for that 7th spot. And through the chicane, these guys got to keep it real tight, real clean, because, boy, I tell you, the curbs there, they were built so high that they were designed to disrupt the suspension flow of the cars. Up the grid. Roman and Maris in a battle of their own. Prato in 3rd. I'm sorry, Prato in 4th. Poel in 3rd. Ludden in 2nd. And Chris Moses is just check the heck out. Now, fast lap goes to John Ludden with a 144.72. I think we're slated for a max of 50 laps here tonight, I believe. Race leader Chris Moses, John Ludden, and David Poel now in a very heated battle. Let's go on board with Mr. Poel. On the bonnet cam. So David Poel getting a bit of a pull off of John Ludden. David Poel gonna take a look on the inside. Will he get it done? And it looks like he does. David Poel getting that position back from John Ludden. So John Ludden now falls back to 3rd. And it looks like Sergio Calderon has pulled it into the pits. It looks like he's done for tonight. A little further back. Andres Prieto trying to make the best of his situation here. Trying to catch up to John Ludden, and John Ludden fading from David Poel kind of quickly there. So, I mean, we're just a few laps in. Could it be that the tires are starting to give him some trouble? I mean, I certainly hope not. It's just way too early for that. Brad Maris running in 5th. Great battle that has formed up here between Al Merriman, Jeremy Bryant, and Rich Roman. Now Jean-Yves Sampson, who is directly ahead of this trio, He's a lap down, where he's about to get put a lap down by these three if they get around him before the pit rotations. And so they're just kind of freight training it around here a little bit, probably trying to get a feel for each other and wait for that opportune time. On the hood cam with Mr. Al Merriman. Al very close to Jeremy Bryant. Now Rich Roman did get around Jean-Yves, and it looks like Jean-Yves is going to pull it over. These guys are going to get the opportunity to get by that lap car, and now the race is on. Start getting that pull off the car in front of you, sometimes you gain an extra few miles per hour, and that also wreaks havoc with your braking zone, because those extra few miles an hour do mean that you have to adjust your braking zone going into a corner perhaps a little bit earlier, and or you have to go heavier on the brakes. So this is a great battle that's forming up here. We're going to stay here for a second. Sorry folks, we had to take a little bit of a water break there, so I do apologize. We're still on board watching Al Merriman go around this incredible Imola circuit. Let's go ahead and take it back a little bit. So Jonathan Cuppet, who is sitting in 10th right now, has got a little bit of a battle with P11, Thomas Schubeck. Schubeck trying to close that gap to Cuppet. Schubeck taking it up on the curbs. These drivers will do whatever it takes to get every ounce of advantage that they can to close in on their competitor ahead. And it looks like Thomas Schubeck having to slow down as he came out of that last corner to avoid getting it off the track. So still current fast lap of the race session. John Ludden with a 144.72, which was established in the early laps. Certainly these tires are wearing a little bit, and I doubt that these drivers will be able to pull off another 144 at this time. They've got the, they're about to put Jean-Yves Sampson a lap down. If Jean-Yves will give them some room. Jonathan Cuppet getting as much pull as he can off of Jean-Yves Sampson is now going to take it on the inside, have a look on the inside, and he'll get it done. He'll get the pass done. Oh! Oh! And Tom Schubeck getting into the back of Jonathan Cuppet, and we have a bit of a fracas going on here. We got cars all over the place. Oh, that is heartbreaking. So Tom Schubeck, Matt Taylor, I think, got caught up in that as well. Let's see here. So Thomas Schubeck currently in 10th. Merriman in 12th. I think that's a lot. It's Schubeck, Cuppet, and Merriman. Then McIntyre, Andrew Werner, Kreshnik Khalili, John Wathen, Matt Taylor, Aaron Parsons. Aaron Parsons surprisingly running back in 17th tonight. Matt Taylor, Jack Ivey. Jack Ivey with a bit of an off. Sorry, buddy. Didn't mean to catch your offedness, but it happened. Bjorn Heyman running in 19th. 20th is Sam Rolfe. Johnny Sampson in 21st. And then you got Mike Graytrix in 22nd. John Ludden having fallen back to 4th, and now he's got a mirror full of Mr. Brad Maris. Let's see how Brad Maris decides to play this one. We should be coming up on the pit rotations very soon. There it is. Looks like Brad Maris will go ahead and put the move on John Ludden for the 4th spot. So John Ludden falling back another position. Not exactly sure what's going on with Mr. Ludden in that BMW GT2. On board with Rich Roman, currently running in P6. Jeremy Bryan in P7. Johnny Ackerman in P8. Thomas Schubeck inside the top 10 in P9. Jonathan Cuppet in 10th. Andrew Werner in 12th. And wow, Andrew Werner being followed closely by John McIntyre. Let's take a look at this little battle that's going on here. So Andrew Werner and John McIntyre separated by literally hundredths of a second. Mike Graytrix with 148.927. Let's see here. We've got Andrew Werner, John McIntyre, Aaron Parsons. Aaron Parsons, who was previously in P17, has now moved up to 13th. John Wathen in 14th. Kreshnik Khalili running in 15th. Sam Rolfe in 17th, and There goes your race leader, Chris Moses, being hounded by David Poel. So David Poel showing just how hungry he is, driving the number 8 SunTrust Chevrolet Corvette GT2 car. Boy, looking at David Poel really working that steering wheel, cranking it all the way to the left. David Poel, a veteran setup man on the GTR2 platform, no doubt has been able to take some of that expertise he has learned there and apply it here to Assetto Corsa. David Poel currently running in second, and he is the current fastest lap owner at 144.70. So moving back in the field a little bit, Andres Prieto running in third, and Brad Maris in fourth, John Ludden back to fifth, Rich Roman running in sixth. Skipped over Johnny Ackerman, but Johnny Ackerman is running in seventh. Jeremy Bryant running in eighth. Tom Schubeck in ninth. John Wathen having a fairly decent run tonight, sitting in P14. Kreshnik Khalili in 15th. Sam Rolfe in 16th. Your leader, Chris Moses. Oh, and Chris getting into it with Sam Rolfe. Oh, what is that going to do now? This is going to give the lead now to David Poel. David Poel inherits the lead. I'm sure not in the way that he wanted to, but Chris Moses and Sam Rolfe getting caught up. Oh, wow. Wow, that's got to be heartbreaking for Chris Moses, who has been on a tear tonight. Oh, wow. No competition committee is going to have something to look at there. Not sure who might have been at fault there. But, boy, oh, boy. Again, heartbreaking. Absolutely heartbreaking. Wow. So, wow, sorry to see that. All right, we're going to move on here, folks. So we know that Chris Moses now is in second, followed by Andres Prieto. Let's see where Prieto is in relation to Mr. Moses. Alright, so it looks like Prato is a bit of a ways back. Brad Maris currently running in 4th and John Ludden in 5th. And it looks like Al Merriman may have come into the pits already, as Al Merriman is down at 21st and Matt Taylor as well, so these two guys may have pitted already. Parsons in 12th, John McIntyre 13th, Wathen in 14th, Kreshnik in 15th. Stay on board with your race leader, David Poel, SunTrust, Chevy Corvette, number 8. Will your race leader stay out or will he bring it in, is the question. And it looks like Poel will be staying out. As will Chris Moses and Andres Prato. And Brad Maris. So we've lost one driver to attrition, and that leaves us with 22 running cars. Jeremy Bryant currently running in the 8th spot. Wathen running in 14th. So it looks like the favorite car for the drivers today has been the Chevy Corvette. On board the BMW of Jack Ivey. Taking it wide there. Great Tricks takes it wide at Tosa. Through the Piratella turns. Down into turns 9 and 10. Trying to catch up with Jack Ivey there for that 19th spot. Al Merriman and Matt Taylor back at 21 and 22 respectively. So your race leader, David Poel, coming up on the likes of Mike Ratrix and Jack Ivy to put him a lap down. Khalili just came out of the pits. On board with Al Merriman, currently running 21. I can only assume that is the case after his pit stop, and a lot of these guys have not pitted yet. It looks like John Ludden coming out of the pits. Gets passed by Schubeck. Matt Taylor, John McIntyre. Now McIntyre is actually up in 13th, so that means that Matt Taylor is one lap down. That means McIntyre's gotten around Matt Taylor and has put him a lap down. John Waffen, Dart Guy, running in 14th. Andres Prieto now up to P2. Let's get on board with Mr. Prieto. I can find him. There he is. So, Andres Prieto in second spot, trying to hunt down David Poel. Not exactly sure what the split gap is between Prieto and Poel. For the close battles out on the field, folks. Close battles out on the field. And believe you me, this is not easy to go at it an hour and a half without a broadcast partner. So Johnny Ackerman running in the 5th spot. Jeremy Bryant running in 6th. Now Ackerman's Ferrari looks like it's got one of them huge Labras on the front of the car, if any of you guys remember what those things were. Look just like that. Jeremy Bryant driving that BMW. Chris Moses, after having pitted, comes out in position 7. Now, I do not believe that Andres Prieto is pitted yet. Prieto, pretty known for late pits. We're going to go on board with Prieto in just a second here and Find out what your race leader strategy is going to be as he comes up on Mike Greatrix to try and put him a lap down. Race leader coming around the final corner. Let's see, is he going to take it into the pits or is he going to stay out? No, he's going to stay out. And again, I do not believe that Andres Prieto has pitted as yet. So it's going to be interesting to see what his strategy is. He doesn't have that big a gap on P2 Brad Maris. Rich Roman all the way up to P3. I don't believe that Rich Roman is pitted either. But we'll have to see when all of these pit rotations shake loose. What is shake loose once these guys are done? Now Brad Maris up in P2. Rich Roman currently running in P3. Cup it out of the pits. Your race leader Andres Prieto still out there as he comes through the turn 14-15 Rivaza complex. And there it is, turn 15. And what will your race leader do? He's going to stay out. So your race leader, Andres Prieto, decides to leave it out another lap. We'll come back to him. Jeremy Bryan in P6. So we're looking for battles out here. Let's get back up to your race leader because we don't know if he's coming. Rich Roman in the pits. Rich Roman getting his service on. And he's off. Schubeck into the pits. Cup it into the pits. Andres Prieto, your race leader, still out there. Coming into the Rivaza turn complex. Let's see what your race leader decides to do this time around. And your race leader now into the pits. John McIntyre in the pits as well. Oh, your race leader overshooting his pit just by a bit. Now, will he be able to get service? It looks like he's getting service, so now Chris Moses now stands to be able to take over that position. Looks like Chris Moses will do indeed just that. As Chris Moses comes across the start-finish line, Chris Moses moves up into the first position. David Poel falls back. And Now Andres Prieto still has a way to go around this circuit because he did pit. David Poel now garnering the second spot. So Brad Maris in 3, David Poel in 2, Chris Moses in 1. Looks like Poel and Moses are going at it right now, bumper to bumper. On board with David Poel as they battle for the lead now. Chris Moses, your leader. They are coming up on the likes of Jean-Yves Sampson and Al Merriman. Al takes it off to let the leaders by. Didn't have to take it out that wide, but I guess just to, being safe, being better to be safe than sorry, Al said, you know what, I'll take it into the gravel just a little bit. So this is a hot battle for the lead, and are we going to get this till the finish of this race is yet to be determined. David Poel getting banged around by those high curbs a little bit there. Both driving the Chevrolet Corvette C6 GT2 car. We'll have to see if David Poel has what it takes to put the moves on Moses. But Moses right now, he is as solid as a rock and not budging, not giving an inch to David Poel, taking away the fast line from Mr. Poel and not leaving anything to chance. Chris Moses, David Poel running bumper to bumper. Brad Maris in 3rd. And Andres Prieto running in 4th. Johnny Ackerman currently running in 5th. Roman currently running in 6th, Ludden in 7th, Jeremy Bryant in 8th. Looks like Jeremy Bryant now is going to start looking to put the moves on Mr. John Ludden. Let's go on board with Jeremy Bryant as we follow them along on this journey around the Imola circuit. So Jeremy Bryant not close enough to get anything done. Rich Roman directly in front of them. So Jeremy Bryant now gaining a little bit. Whoa! Has to do a little bit of a brake check there, but gaining some momentum on John Ludden. John Ludden fading. Ludden currently holding that 7th position, and Bryant getting on the brakes just a little bit early to give John Ludden the room necessary to get Piratella turn 8. And here they come through Minerali, which is the turn 9 and 10 complex. Very, very challenging for these drivers. Up next, turns 11 and 12. The Variante Alta. Very good on both drivers as they get through cleanly. Back in P9 on board with Thomas Schubeck. Now Schubeck's still a ways back in terms of what the split gap is between P8 and P9. Sam Rolfe is currently running in 15th. Chris Moses, your race leader, now starting to pull away a little bit from David Poel. And I can fill you in on Chris Moses' secret. Chris drives with 0 force feedback on his wheels. Don't know why. But he does. So, your running order: Chris Moses in first, David Poel in second, Brad Maris is running in third. And like I said, folks, unfortunately it's very difficult to get that to show up on screen because the way Assetto Corsa does not cycle through the cars in their running order from first to last. If not, it cycles through the cars according to their position on the grid, on the circuit, irregardless of your running order. So David Poel in second, Brad Maris in third, Andres Preto running in fourth, Ackerman in fifth, Roman in sixth, Ludden seventh, Bryant eighth. These guys are still at it. Schubeck in ninth, having a great run inside of the top 10. Way to go, Shubes. And Jonathan Cuppett driving the number 11 Mad Croc Corvette, currently running in 10th. John Wathen running in 11th. Johnny McIntyre in 12th. 13th to Andrew Werner. Kreshnik Khalili running in 14th. Sam Rolfe in 15th. And Mike Graytrix in the last points paying position. And Mike Graytrix getting around Sam Rolfe to put him a lap down. But let's see, Matt Taylor running in 21st, so Matt Taylor currently not a threat to Mike Graytrix. just occurred to me that we may have lost the boss man, Al Merriman. I do not see him in the standings any further. And folks, if you're watching the broadcast, just to let you know, I do not have the chat open, so I'm not going to be able to see anything that might be getting written there. Just doing that to save resources, make sure that everything goes right in the broadcast for tonight. So, Jack Ivy running in 18th. As we cycle through these cars, looking for your, there we go, race leader. David Poel running in second. Let's see if we can catch one of these onboard cams. Moses just kind of out there by himself right now, dominating this race. My broadcast partner Jack Ivy calls Mr. Chris Moses the pit wizard, and that is because in the Monday night GT2 races, Chris Moses at times will pull a rabbit out of his hat during the pit rotations. On board with your race leader Chris Moses, not too far behind him, David Poel, Andres Prieto in third, and let's see here, fourth, Andres Prieto in fourth, Brad Maris moving up to third. Wow. So good on you, Brad. Brad got that Corvette hooked up real nice, and it looks like he was able to improve his position to third. So, podium, Chris Moses, David Poel, and Brad Maris, as it stands right now, could be different when the checkered flag drops at the end of this race. We just don't know yet. But your running order from top to bottom: in first, Chris Moses, your race leader. Second, David Poel. Third is Brad Maris. Andres Prieto in fourth. Richard Roman in fifth. Johnny Ackerman in sixth. John Ludden in seventh. Jeremy Bryan in eighth. Ninth, Thomas Schubeck. 10th, Jonathan Cuppet. 11th, John Wathen. John McIntyre in 12th. Andrew Werner in 13th. Kreshnik Khalili in 14th. Sam Rolfe in 15th. Mike Greatrix in the last points paying position of 16th. Jean-Yves Sampson running in 17th. Aaron Parsons in 18th. Jack Ivy in 19th. Bjorn Hemmen in 20th. And Matt Taylor back in 21st. That is your running order, folks. Jean-Yves Sampson having a fairly decent night, just one position out of the points. Looking to improve on that. He's got a way to go to catch Mike Greatrix. John Wathen running 11th. Mickey D's Corvette. Rich Roman. looking at one heck of a battle going on. Let's take a look here between Bjorn Hemmen and Jack Ivey. These boys are battling it out for 19th position. Doesn't matter if you're battling for first or last. As long as you're in a heated battle, you're having fun, you're having competition. That's what it's all about, folks. So Jack Ivey holding on to that 19th spot. Doesn't look like he's wanting to let Bjorn Hemmen get too close. Matt Taylor, 21st. On board with your race leader, Chris Moses. At it for several laps now. David Poel not willing to let Chris Moses get out of his crosshairs, but Chris Moses just running excellent lines through Imola, not making any mistakes. Chris Moses coming up on the back bumper of Sam Rolfe. Sam's gonna let him through. So David Poel trying his best to close the gap to Chris Moses, not let him get too far away. And they are split by Sam Rolfe, who is a lap down. And that split is no longer an issue as David Poel gets around Sam Rolfe and now can set his sights on the back of Chris Moses' bumper. Now it appears that David Poel has a slight pace on Chris Moses, but what will he and what can he do with that pace? Can he put it to good use to execute a pass on Chris Moses for the lead in the closing laps? Time will tell, boy, but I'll tell you this much. Chris Moses is hungry for his first Assetto Corsa win here at NAGP Thursday Night Racing League. Don't think he's going to give much room to David Poel, regardless of the circumstances. Now David Poel still the fastest lap owner with a 144.7. That has not been taken down in some laps. So David Poel. Oh, Chris Moses loses it. They come together slightly in the last corner. Let's see what's going on here. So Chris Moses now relegated to the second spot. We saw Chris Moses losing it in that last corner. Heartbreaker for Chris Moses again. What is going on? Chris Moses got to get it together. Jack Ivey coming out of the pits behind the leaders. Puts him a lap down. Get it together, Chris. Get it together, man. Wow, this is the second time in the race where he's had a bit of a heartbreaker there. On the front bumper cam, Chris Moses looking ahead at David Poel, your race leader, as they come up on some lap traffic. Is this going to play a crucial part in what the final outcome is going to be in this race? Well, time will tell, folks, but this is exciting racing. This is as exciting as it gets. So things are interesting now. Chris Moses, last corner through Rivazza, he loses it. Gives David Poel the advantage. David Poel, who was working tirelessly to close the gap, now finds himself in front of Chris Moses, who has tremendous pace around Imola here tonight. But now, Matt Taylor up ahead of David Poel, a back marker, a lapped car. How is this going to shape up? And ahead of Matt Taylor, there are other vehicles that are running ahead as well. So we'll have to see how this works out. I see Christian and Khalili up there in the horizon. Oh boy, Chris Moses driving like a bat out of hell right now, cutting these corners close, keeping his foot on the pedal, not wanting to let David Poel get too far away. David Poel getting a bit of a pull off of Matt Taylor's Corvette. So these guys right now are battling it tooth and nail. Wow. Wow. Now Chris Moses slightly inside of David Poel's draft. Will he be able to make use of that pull? Will he be able to make use of that draft and get within striking distance to try and take that lead back? We're just going to have to see how this plays out, folks. But this is certainly nail-biting stuff because we're like in the bottom of the ninth. It's a full count with 2 outs. What is Chris Moses going to do? David Poel not going to give an inch. Coming up on Matt Taylor's bumper. Oh my goodness, Chris Moses is right there. Let's go on that bumper cam. Matt Taylor takes it into the dirt. Christian and Khalili now directly ahead of David Poel. And folks, this platform is unlike, Chris Moses having to get off that throttle, takes it a little bit wide. This platform, unlike GTR2, where these guys can flash lights, it doesn't work that way here, and there's still no blue light system. Christian and Khalili going to take it wide, let the leaders through. All right, we have a battle going on now. We have a battle going on now for the lead. Chris Moses lost it some laps ago in the last Ravazza corner. Not happy with himself. I am sure he is trying everything that he can do to try and get that back. Time will tell as we are in the closing laps of this race. Round 2 here at NAGP Thursday night Assetto Corsa League. Points and prizes on the line here throughout the season. Once the season is all said and done, points and prizes are at stake here. So we'll have to see how this one shapes up. David Poel with open track ahead of him, being followed closely by Chris Moses. David Poel, your race leader. We're going to go ahead and just take a look back from David Poel's car back at Chris Moses. See the lines that David Poel is driving. He is driving some very, very tight lines. Whoa, nearly takes it into the gravel there. David Poel, your race leader. Chris Moses in second. Brad Maris in P3, not far behind them. Brad Maris now starting to push as he comes out of Variante Alta, getting a little squirrely as he gets quick on the throttle. Andres Prado in P4, he's still a ways back, just going through Variante Alta. Rich Roman in 5th and John Ludden in 6th. Jeremy Bryant in 7th and Johnny Ackerman in 8th. So Johnny Ackerman and Jeremy Bryant, along with John Ludden, in their own three-way battle for P6 right now. John Ludden trying to hold it together after his pit rotation. And these two are relentless. They do not want to give up any positions whatsoever. They're trying their hardest to catch Mr. John Ludden. Tom Schubeck, again, still in the top 10, running in 9th. He has been there for his entire second stint. Oh, Chris Moses now getting hounded by Brad Maris. Brad Maris, as they come into Piratella, turn 8 complex. Brad Maris goes a little bit wide, trying to get some of that extra oomph coming out of that corner. So now Chris Moses getting squirrely coming out of that last corner. Oh, Brad Maris with a run on him. Oh, and they go side by side. Brad Maris gonna go ahead and take P2 away from Chris Moses. So now Chris Moses in these closing laps is starting to fade a little bit. Boy, oh boy, this has got to be a heartbreaker for Mr. Moses right now. Oh my goodness. This is great racing, folks. Great racing. So David Poel, your race leader. Brad Maris in P2, Chris Moses in P3, Prado in P4, Richard Roman in P5, Ludden in 6, Ackerman, Bryant, Schubeck, Cuppet, Wathen, McIntyre, Werner, Halili, Rolfe, Sampson, Parsons, Greatrix, Hemmond, Taylor, Ivy. That's your running order, folks. So Aaron Parsons running in P17, not having too great a night here tonight. Not where you typically see Aaron Parsons running on any given night. Aaron Parsons, one of the fast guys here at NAGP. So let's move it back up to the front again. Chris Moses, Brad Maris still going at it. David Poel is all but checked out as he comes into Tamburello. On board with Chris Moses, looking ahead at Brad Maris, who's currently in P2. Chris Moses gonna cut that corner a little bit tight in hopes of closing that gap, getting sufficient draft off of Brad Maris, but Brad Maris just able to pull away a little bit here as they go through Piratella and down into Minelari. So Brad Maris driving those tight lines. Whoa, Matt Taylor. Ivy getting pushed back to 21st. Jeremy Bryant with a spin. Oh, and he might have gotten some damage to that car. Yep, looks like he did. Can't be exactly sure, but doesn't look like he's able to drive it full bore yet. We'll have to see. Further back, John McIntyre in a battle with Andrew Werner. Andrew Werner driving the number 8 Corvette, the number 8 SunTrust Corvette. Al Merriman in the pits has taken it off and has kept it off. Well, Jeremy Bryant looks like he had to come into the pits for some repairs. So again, Brad Maris and Chris Moses, the hottest battle on the field right now. Let's take it on board with Chris Moses. This is the roof cam. Jeremy Bryant, having just come out of the pits after having to get some repair work done on his car, now has to contend with the fact that the Ps 2 and 3 are coming through. So Chris Moses, Brad Maris, tight battle for P2 in the closing laps here has allowed David Poel to just go ahead and check out. Boy, oh boy. Jeremy Bryant gonna let these folks through. As we see Chris Moses cranking that wheel left and right as they go through Variante Alta. That's the chicane at the top of the hill. Very, very complex chicane. Oh, and Matt Taylor disconnected from the server. Sorry to see you go, Matt. Not sure exactly how much longer we've got to go in this race, folks, but it's not much at all. I believe that we have just mere minutes left in this race, and Chris Moses trying his best to catch Mr. Brad Maris. Brad Maris, one of our resident driving instructors here at the North American Grand Prix. Always willing and happy to help out some fellow sim racers improve their skills, car setup, driving technique. Brad's your man. So these guys continue their battle. Andres Prado still running in fourth. Fifth to Rich Roman. Let's see, let's check on this battle between Ackerman and Ludden that has been going on for some time now. So Ackerman taking the shortcut up the hill. Alright, so here's an interesting little fact about Assetto Corsa. In this view, and any view really, when you're looking at the drivers, there's no head movement. The only things that move, their arms. Not even their throttle foot. These characters are static right now. Hopefully Kunos gets that together as well and makes dynamic characters that look more lifelike. So Chris Moses gets back by Brad Maris, and wow, who's this? This is Matrix with some car damage. Jeremy Bryant's car. Chris Moses currently in P2. Now we have to find out what happened to Brad. Where did Brad Maris go? He's in P3. He must have had an off or something, because the gap between Brad Maris and Chris Moses is substantial. So I'm sorry that we didn't catch that on the broadcast, folks. We'll have to find that out later and report it in the forums what it was that happened there. So, following Brad Maris around, let's jump back a little bit here. Oh, Jonathan Cuppett slams it into the wall. What happened there? Not exactly sure. Is the race over or what? Let's see here. Aaron Parsons still running. Is he still running, or is the race done and over with? Doesn't look like it's done and over with just yet. Let's go and catch up with David Poel. As if your race leader, David Poel, is still out there running. Getting around the back marker. So we will have to see how this shakes out. I see that Sergio Calderon, Bjorn Hammond, and we've got some other folks that are dropping. David Poel, your race leader. Variante alta. into the Livaza two-turn complex, 14 and 15. Looks like this race is still going on right now. You see all that dirt that's accumulated on David Poel's fenders. He's been running a tough race. Brad Maris in P3. So this has sorted itself out, but hold on a second, folks, because it looks like Andres Prieto has made sufficient inroads to Brad Maris's position here. Now that's Brad Maris up ahead, with John Wathen just up ahead him. Brad Maris trying to get around Wathen. Wathen takes it wide to let these folks by. Good on you, Wathen. So we've got another battle shaping up here for now for the last podium spot. Race leader just came through the start-finish line. This one should be drawn to a close, folks, real soon. And there you have it. That is the race, as I had suspected, folks. David Poel, your race winner, followed by Chris Moses, Brad Maris in third, Andres Prieto fourth, Rich Roman in fifth, John Ludden, Johnny Ackerman, Tom Schubeck, Jeremy Bryant, Andrew Werner, John McIntyre, John Wathen, Kreshnik Khalili, Sam Rolfe, John Eves, Aaron Parsons and John Eves, and Mike Greatrix. So Mike Greatrix having fallen just outside of the points paying positions. So that's about it, folks, from Imola. I am Ken Rodriguez. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I hope that you guys enjoy the broadcast, and you know, I just want to say this, that as we go along, I'm sure that either Kunos or somebody else will make it possible to bring us better stream, better broadcasts with more features, more like what we're accustomed to. So we just ask that you just bear with us as we work through these issues and some of the limitations of the platform. But tremendous racing. I hope you guys enjoyed the coverage. And for North American Grand Prix, I'm Ken Rodriguez, and we are out. Thanks for watching.